All right, we'll go ahead and start an intro after that then.
Oh, and actually, I think I'm gonna kick live on. Look at.
You know we're recording already, right? We're supposed to be starting. Stop showing me your porn.
I can't. No, I'm playing.
All right, put down your phone, Drew.
Well, I'm gonna go live.
He wants to go live online, as if we have a huge audience like
Yeah,
that.
we have some kind of audience.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's cool.
Oh.
This is all stuff that should have been done before we started recording.
I know. This is growing pains.
No, but it is definitely a pain.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I got the Ring, the neighborhood app for the Ring camera, and like everybody's so stupid. It's Instagram, man. It's got to be vertical.
Is this, oh, does it?
Yeah, Instagram doesn't.
That could be. It could be like in that little corner. It's fine. It's not your thing, so.
And I just shut it down.
All right, we're already 2 minutes in, Drew.
Okay, all right. We'll get started here. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the third installment of our podcast here.
With no name, still.
With no name.
Just pick one camera to talk into. Don't talk into all of them.
Yeah. we'll get to the naming.
Eventually.
Yeah.
We talked about it a little bit last night while reviewing things, but so far no luck on this yet. If anybody's got suggestions still.
We're just here talking about South Texas outdoors and outdoors activities, fishing. If you're not a fisherman, maybe we'll make one out of you.
Mm.
Well, if they're not, I don't think they'd be watching us.
They might on my live. I got people who aren't fishermen, anglers.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Outdoors people.
Well, I mean, nobody's been doing too much fishing lately due to this weather.
I know, dude. It's so freaking cold. And
it's not like Texas to where 35 degrees is a lot warmer than it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but no, I mean, what was it yesterday? It basically didn't get out of freezing almost all day.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking if I wasn't a lazy bum and I could have got out of bed, trout, going to Guadalupe for trout would have been awesome.
Nah, but you might not even made it up there. It was sleeting up there.
I don't think it got up above into the 30s yesterday.
Nah.
Yeah.
It was in the 20s. It was 21 when I left for work last night.
That is what's cool about San Antonio, though. In the wintertime, you can go fish trout in the colder weather. You still fish for bass, but it is struggle city.
Yeah, trout just like the cold weather better.
Right. But
which is why they don't do so well here.
Speaking of trout, though, they've been doing the trout stockings all winter, though. Anybody's gone for that?
yes. So.
When was the last stocking? Do we know? Was it this week?
The last stocking is this week for
the most recent one?
For the ponds, and I think also for the Guadalupe.
Yeah, and okay, let me ask, what do you guys think about stocking trout in a lake like Southside Lions, or like a pond or lake, however you want to call it, or at something like Miller's? Like, me personally, I feel like those bodies of water would be better served stocking another game fish, preferably bass. Like, I get the Guadalupe, but I struggle a little bit with why they stock trout.
Well, I understand why they do it. They just different fishing opportunities. They make it more accessible, but the thing is, almost nobody catches those fish that get stocked.
Yeah, it's rare for anybody to catch one, but somebody caught a big one out of where was it?
Miller's?
Live Oak Lake. Somebody caught a big one out of the pond there.
At that little pond?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the thing of it is typically, barring the past couple years, it's been, once the water heats up, that's it. The trout die off. As opposed to like Guadalupe, where they are able to be more easily sustained throughout the year, kind of.
We get some holdouts throughout the year.
Under the dam, they'll be able to survive because the dam brings the cold water from the bottom of the lake, so they can survive on the lower Guadalupe all year. But the upper part, like in the state park, they don't survive more than a couple weeks.
Yeah, and I mean,
well, I think they survive a little longer in the rivers because of got flowing water.
Yeah, me too.
And that's the only thing about putting them in ponds. They won't survive as long because it's not
and then
water.
They're a flowing water fish. They need fast moving water.
Yeah, and so TBW stocks everywhere with they stock everywhere with catfish, which is cool. Like that makes sense to me.
Because most people in San Antonio who go fishing, they plan to eat whatever they catch.
Yeah.
So stocking with catfish, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Right.
Eat all those catfish that you want. That's what they're put there for.
I guess, yeah. So if I could plead my own little selfish plea to Texas Parks and Wildlife, I would love for them to stock more bass and more of the. No, thank you.
We're gonna make Drew smoke a cigar today too.
It's not gonna happen. Dirty.
Peer pressure.
Dirty cigar mouth. I can't get the taste out of my mouth. I hate it. But anyway.
Hey, it's either this or you never fish with the frog again.
No, listen. Okay. Okay, see, now you guys are coming for the frog, all right? The frog works, okay? The frog is effective. I love it. And there's nothing...
I wouldn't say it's effective, but...
There's nothing like a frog blow up, okay? I'm sorry. It's hard to beat. But anyway, stock.
I can make a list.
Stocking. Yeah, I would plead with Texas Parks and Wildlife to stock more bass and more local little bodies of water,
which they are actually starting to do. I don't know if they're doing that because I know you contacted them at one point.
Yeah.
Specifically about Woodlawn and Elmendorf.
Yeah.
And they actually did start stocking Woodlawn with bass.
Yeah, which is awesome. And it's so funny because I contacted a biologist from Texas Parks and Wildlife and had a conversation with him. And like with Elmendorf, they were like, well, we're going to trudge it out and see what happens. I don't think they stocked bass in Elmendorf, but I do know they stocked 50 trophy cats.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's awesome. That to me is like, okay, that's a step in the right direction. They did stock bass in Woodlawn, and ironically, I haven't been to Woodlawn to fish for bass. I need to get my butt out there and but Woodlawn, I guess I have PTSD from Woodlawn.
Yeah, I know the creek is always produced very well at Woodlawn.
Yeah.
But the lake hasn't really done all that much, and I think it's been like 2 years since they stocked it.
Yeah.
Or just 1 year.
It's about a year or two.
So maybe that's something we ought to do is head out to Woodlawn for bass and then Elmendorf for catfish. See if any of those trophies are still in there.
Yeah, I'd love it. I think. That is the other thing about San Antonio, though, is typically when they do stock, and it is what it's there for, but people will fish out like the cats, trout, if they can catch them. They'll fish those guys out pretty quickly and then take them home and eat them. Again, what it was meant for to do. Yes. So you got to be Johnny on the spot, I guess. You know.
But the places where they stock the catfish, like they've stocked so many over the years. What beeped?
Oh, my camera. Oh, my camera just went out.
Oh,
yeah.
I guess we'll be all right.
I think I'll just press record again. I think it'll be okay.
Anyway, I lost my train of thought.
Sorry. You got to resync the audio?
We'll figure it out.
All right. But anyway, yeah. So, sorry.
I lost my train of thought.
We're talking about catfish.
It's like something started beeping at me. I don't even know what I was saying.
Damn it, man. But yeah, no, like I said, I like that they stock cats. I would like to see them stock more bass. I think the popularity of bass is big enough for them to get in there and start stocking them. And also, I mean, it would be kind of cool if they paid. I think they've done a lot with the San Antonio River, and in terms of stocking, I would like to see more of that, more. Focus and attention on stocking the San Antonio River.
I mean, there's fish in there, but I mean, you're talking about like trout or?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at trout in that river because I think even there they might be little pockets.
That's what they used to do back then. When instead of stocking Southside Lions or Millers or Live Oak, they would stock it. They would
like Padre Park.
Yeah, they would stock them in the river there. and he will catch them out of there.
But you know what else would be cool, too, especially for like fly anglers, is if you could actually wade the San Antonio River. I wish that was something that they would.
Well, we'll get into that in a little while because that kind of leads to our next talking point. But
I'm gonna get fucking. This is where I get lung cancer, and you guys are like 80 years old and freaking just breathing the best.
Well, you can join us
with the best and freshest of lungs. I'm just over here.
I do remember what I was trying to say earlier before your GoPro cut me off. But I was saying they've stocked catfish for so long that even though they're all fished out like that first day, that they've been doing it for so long that the ones that have survived have like taken hold. So there's always catfish in those spots now. So
yeah, you know, like the same thing too is that they live long enough to breed. So they replenish their own numbers a little bit.
Yeah.
Even though it's heavily pressured.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I've heard that carp fishing in the San Antonio River is like grade A. And I think people have caught, especially, I don't even know if I want to really mention this. It's not like it's a secret, but that southern part of the San Antonio River is so juicy. I mean, you can catch good cats out of there. Like, it's
not like you're giving away a secret spot.
Right.
It's mostly inaccessible, which is why it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's mostly inaccessible, and that's why I think that not a ton of people go and fish at that particular part of it, of the San Antonio River. But I really enjoy fishing that part of the river. I mean, I've caught decent-sized bass. I've caught a really nice catfish on a spinnerbait there. That was awesome. So, I think the river really starts getting juicy like the further south you go on the San Antonio River.
Oh yes.
But kind of going into our next point, we were talking about how much the San Antonio River has changed, and you were saying like you would like it if you'd be able to wade in the San Antonio River, and before they did all the renovations and stuff and rebuilt it the way they are, you could.
Yeah.
And the San Antonio River was actually like Espada Park was a place where everybody went to go swimming.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't really a fishery back then.
But it really wasn't that great of a place to go swimming either.
Well, no, because I remember on the news every morning they would say whether or not it was like if. Like, you know how when you're going to school and there's a storm or something, so you're sitting there watching the news in the morning to see so if your schoschool's open or closed? That's how it was for Espada Park. Like, you're waiting for the news advisory to say it was safe to go swim there that day.
Yeah.
Because there was, like, E. coli outbreaks and stuff.
Well, before they put all the trails in, the old trail that used to go from Espada to the Mission, Espada, past 1604, that bike trail was terrible. It was just like they put... What was that?
Asphalt.
Asphalt, yeah, but it wasn't even even asphalt. Yeah. And the hills would go up real high and it come road down slow. But it was uneven and
it's more of a mountain bike trail or what?
Oh, it was a nightmare to go down that trail. But then also you look at the river now.
I don't think they actually had any kind of intention of anything going on it when they built it. It was just like, oh, we need to put a trail there, so they just laid out whatever. They didn't actually build anything.
But I mean, the way the river was before, it was just a drainage. Like if there was no trees and stuff, if you actually walk down to the river, it would be just kind of like a steep bank, and like the water was pretty shallow, and like water had this weird stain to it, like dirty like pollution stain.
So I wasn't here when they had started like the beautification of the San Antonio River. Like, what were some of the things they did to clean that water and make it like a functioning fishery?
They started putting vegetation back.
I think they really started it when they built the flood control tunnel under downtown. And then when they built that and they had all that water stored up, they did the beautification process. That way they actually had somewhere to get more water to fill it in. Too, and they added I know for the vegetation and stuff they were adding, they put like chain link fences and mesh all over the banks and everywhere.
Keep it from eroding.
Yeah, to keep everything from eroding and keep the roots set in.
And
very cool. A lot more,
that's why there's so many snags.
Yeah, we put a lot more riffraff in there because there was parts on there where it would be like a natural river and then it'll be like concrete and literally just like it looks like a dam almost, where it comes down like that, but it'll go on for like, I don't know, 100 yards like that, and then it'll be like back to natural in a way.
Yeah. So yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense though. Adding the vegetation, good structure, things like that, and
Also, they added all those kayak chutes.
oh yeah,
yeah.
The one at Padre
Right.
Park used to just be a straight dam that was like 10 feet tall.
yeah.
And you could go swimming there underneath it and everything.
Yeah.
And now it's probably the biggest kayak chute in the city. It's like 30 feet long, probably.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I think coming from a angler's perspective, we're focused on all the angling opportunities, but in fact, the angling opportunities probably will get better because of like multi activities on the Riverwalk, where they're like, okay, let's make this better, and it'll get better for everyone else. You know,
The cleanest part of the river used to be Breckenridge Park.
wow,
That was the cleanest part of the river for the longest time.
wow,
I mean, when I was a kid, we'd go fish like anywhere south of downtown. Man, you couldn't get anything even touch a worm out of that river.
wow. Hmm. Yeah.
There was like just dead water.
There used to be different species of fish in there that we don't seem to have anymore. Like, I don't know what they were called or anything. I don't know anything about them, but I know when I was a kid, we would go catch fish for our aquariums. And there was some kind of, they almost looked like a bed of fish. Like, but they were like this, they're probably about that long. And they had these long blue fins and stuff on them. They were just real flowy.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen one since I was a kid. I don't know what the hell they were.
That's like the plecos that everybody's throwing in the San Antonio.
They're not throwing them in there. The news is saying, oh, they came from people releasing their aquariums in there. Like,
Where were they coming
they
from?
came from the zoo.
Oh, wow.
Because the zoo kept all the tilapia and plecos in there to keep their waters clean, and then the tilapia was there for people to grab the handfuls of dog food and throw it out there and watch the fish start eating it.
Yeah.
And then in the big floods, which is why they ended up building the flood control tunnels under downtown, but when all those floods, like some of those fish got released into the river.
Dude.
And then they just keep blaming it on people releasing their aquarium fish.
The zoo doesn't want to fess up to it. Rat bastards.
Well, somebody,
Yeah.
I don't know, somebody or somewhere released that koi that's over there by Pearl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that doesn't happen, because it definitely happens. Because if you go to Woodlawn, that creek there's a goldfish swimming around. That
But you
creek.
don't think that that's like what's directly attributed to all the plecos that are in the San Antonio River?
It's
No.
actually not as bad as they say it is, because you would see a lot more south of downtown than...
You don't see that many south of downtown.
But you see more actually towards Breckenridge and downtown than you
Around
do.
the zoo.
Yeah. Than you do actually like south of it.
Well, man, it's fascinating, man. Like that's blown up lately. I know I've been hearing more and more about the plecos.
See, they keep talking about the plecos and stuff, but the one that's really like invasive that they don't really talk about that much is the snails.
Really?
The big apple snails.
Yeah.
So, like those are the ones. Like if you go downtown, especially, you'll see them everywhere. And they don't tell you to call Texas Parks and Wildlife every time you see a pleco, but they tell you to call and report the snails and stuff. You know.
Yeah.
That's what they did also with they do the river cleanup every year. When they drain it,
They try to. They
try
just
to
did
get-
that recently.
Yeah, they try
too.
to get rid of as many of those as they can. But
Yeah.
they can't get rid of them completely. But when it's drained, though, they just pick them.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not super fascinated with catching plecos, but I do really like the Rio Grande cichlids. I think that's an awesome, fun.
Well, those aren't
Those,
invasive.
those are native.
Yeah, but no, I'm just saying in terms of like what I see people catching there more and more when I'm on the interwebs.
Now, if you do actually catch a pleco and find a way to get one to bite, or if you accidentally snag one or something, they fight really hard. They're fun to catch.
Oh, cool.
Because they're strong. Like they're just all
I mean,
muscle.
they're like tilapia, the same
Yeah,
thing.
and tilapias are a lot of fun to catch too. So
Yeah,
I really
trying to
don't
get them to
mind.
bite.
I don't really mind the tilapia being in the river because when you do catch one, they're pretty fun.
Yeah, I would like to. I mean, like I said, I think tilapia is a fun fish, like a fun pan
And
fish.
I don't think the tilapia are as was it adverse? I guess.
Yeah,
they're not as dangerous or as the plecos are, because the plecos will burrow up under the banks and the banks will start collapsing.
Eroding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the tilapia, I don't think they have any adverse effects on the bass population or anything like that, because you'll see the bass hanging out with them.
Yeah.
You know?
And man, one thing I wish And I mean, not necessarily in the San Antonio River, but I wish we had more of a ecosystem for crappie. I love crappie as a panfish. I've heard they've been more up north.
I mean, they're not really native to the San Antonio River system,
Yeah. And I'm sure they are further south, like when you get like hours out of town, closer to the coast or closer to where it ends.
Yeah,
but I don't think I've ever heard anybody actually catching one out of the river itself anywhere.
No, I was just saying that would be like a wish list fish that I wish was more abundant here.
There's a few around in the San Antonio area because I've seen people catching some in different places. Somebody caught a giant one out of Converse.
That's freaking awesome.
A couple months ago, but like it seems like it's the only one in there, and like nobody knows how it got in there. They weren't stocked.
Yeah. Actually, Converse is a surprising little body of water, but man, it's funny. I keep like the more I watch YouTube and the more I'm on Instagram, I see a lot of new things here in San Antonio that I haven't seen before, you know, like that's like gotten me like, oh wow, I didn't know about that body of water. Like I want to freaking check that out. And just like the Converse thing, like never knew there's crappie in there, but now I'm a little intrigued to go back to Converse. You know,
because there's not supposed to be crappie in there.
Yeah.
So where there's supposed to be crappie is live oak.
Yeah, there's supposed to be crappie in live oak.
I've never seen anybody catch crappie out of there though.
You know what's crazy about live oak though is
there's also supposedly hybrid stripers in there as well.
Yeah.
Really?
Like, and we actually went through it. We looked through the stocking records, and they stocked hybrids in there years ago. And was it last year somebody caught some out of there?
Was it last year or year before?
Last year or the year before, somebody actually caught some hybrid stripers out of there.
Man, yeah, that would be awesome. What's funny about live oak is I would think that would be a fishier lake, but I've always had more success in Converse North Park than I have at live oak. Yeah, but I mean that's not like saying. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. Maybe I'm just like.
Yeah,
but.
Live oak is it can be a pretty tough place, especially because it's so. Trying to think of what the right word is, but depending on the weather, like it can change like that. Like it changes easier than other places, other bodies of water would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like wind blows 1 mile an hour faster, and all of a sudden the conditions are completely different there. You know?
Yeah, I guess I like live oak in that
it's really sensitive.
Well,
yeah.
The nice thing about live oak is it's a Southside Lions or Miller's Pond size little lake.
Yeah.
But that's the only real place I've caught bass out of there.
Yeah. Actually, I caught my first bass out of Live Oak Lake from the bank. Yeah. Yeah, that's what got me started on bass fishing. I was hooked. Pun intended.
And then you find out about all these places from social media.
Yes. And
Now the new gateway for fishing.
I came, when I really started getting into fishing, big time, I never heard of the Googans or any of that type of thing, but they were already well established and all that. Like, but all those videos, all the social media people, YouTube and everything like that. I mean, that took my fishing from being a novice to being an intermediate angler. Just being able to get on there and pick up tips and tricks and things like that. I mean,
be sure to let us know when you find one that works.
Haters. But yeah,
you just make it so easy.
But yeah, man. I mean, it's pretty incredible. The state of fishing now with social media, with like how popular it's gotten, and a large part due to that is social media, is YouTube and things like that. I would say it's for me, talking to older anglers, it's been a gift and a curse in a lot of ways, you know? Like in some ways it's been good because
So how,
it's spreading information. It's growing the sport. It's getting new people in it. But
I mean, like, I've been fishing like forever. I never stopped. Like, Evan kind of stopped for a while.
well, I stopped because when I was a kid, I only ever did saltwater fishing, and there's no saltwater around here. And I didn't know what the hell I was doing in
Drew was
freshwater.
like the newest one here.
Yeah.
Do anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I was the one that basically kept going. Even though we were doing all the punk rock stuff. But
Yeah.
I would still go fishing the next morning.
Yeah. Just going to shows, rocking out at shows, and then like waking up, dragging yourself out of bed.
Feeling like nature.
Get it out of here.
But
So you need a shirt pocket so I can put one in.
I mean, I think like I've always been into outdoors and outdoor activities, but yeah.
But into that point though, how have you seen how YouTube and Facebook have changed the landscape there?
Well, like I said, the good thing about it is that it's brought notoriety to certain things. So now, again, Texas Parks and Wildlife has a little presence on social media, so they're able to better serve the community.
Yeah. That kind of goes back to our stocking thing. Like if it wasn't for social media, then CPW would still be stocking catfish and trout everywhere instead of bass like they are now. Finally.
Yeah, 100%. And then I want to say the downside is, and I don't want to sound like
there's a lot of downsides.
Well, I know that when I first got into fishing and I was joining different fishing groups on social media, I was like, this is a totally mellow community of people. Like people were very supportive. Everybody was willing to help and talk about different things. And over time, I kind of seen some animosity in certain circles and things like that, where I was like, "Damn, I didn't really expect that from."
With the beginning part, like what you're talking about there, probably is a holdover from like before social media really took off. Everybody was using forums, like the San Antonio Fishing Forum and stuff like that.
Texas Fishing Forum.
And everybody was cool on there. There wasn't a whole lot of animosity and stuff. People were sharing information. And that carried over to the social media, and then social media, everybody's like, no, don't talk about my secret spot. It's a secret.
Yeah.
Like, I've actually gotten death threats over secret spots.
Yeah, for like, or being accused for like spot burning and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I could see it out now because, well, I was telling you the other day with the white bass, going to the Nueces as a kid, you'd only see maybe 5 or 6 boats out there on a Saturday. And people fishing from the bank. Now you go over there and there's parking lots overflowing and people are parked on the side and stuff.
In the middle of the week.
Yeah, and then also anybody got more kayakers because there was no kayakers back then either.
Yeah.
And the past 5-6 years, kayaking has blown up big time.
Yeah, and to that, it's good in one regard that people are getting into it. But I would say, like, honey holes are a myth, right? Like, I think it's ridiculous to be like, oh, well, this spot, and now everybody's in the spot. I think what's bad about the volume of people that have gotten into it is of course, the more pressure there is on lakes, the harder, the more of a challenge it is.
I don't know, Drew, you never been to a real honey hole.
But, yeah, it's more challenging. I know in, like, Japan, for instance, I've heard in Japan, they're like doing revolutionary things with finesse fishing because the lakes there are so pressured. They have to adapt to that. So, and
they still managed to pull a world record out of there.
Yeah. And I think over time, a lot of people are going to get into outdoors, like hunting, fishing, and I think they're going to they're going to kind of fall by the wayside. Not everybody's going to stick with it.
It's a fad kind of. Well, it started slowing down a little bit during the pandemic, and a little before that, it was kind of a big fad where more and more people were getting into it. Yeah. And now the people that weren't really serious about it are kind of dropping off.
But I think now, since there's more and more people doing it, that a lot of the regulations are going to have to change. Like a lot of the keeps and the length limit stuff.
Which they are changing.
Yeah.
Like the catfish size went from 12 to 14.
Yeah, also the trout used to be keep 10 of them, 15 inches each and longer. Now it's 5, 15, and you can only keep one over 20 or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can remember for a long time, man, you couldn't catch a trout to save your life until they changed those limits.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I don't think anybody will have issues with actual good conservation efforts. You know, that's what makes
the guides will. Those guys that go out there for white bass, they'll take a trip out there with 4 people in their boat and catch a 25 fish limit for each person. So that's 125 fish right there. And they'll go drop those people off, take another load of people out there, another 125 fish.
Yeah.
Multiple times a day. Like, they're the ones that are really hurting it more than people blowing up secret spots.
Yeah.
I mean, I could attest to that too, because even you don't like the local lakes here, Brawny and Calaveras.
I mean, not all the guides are bad, because like we've got a couple in the group, and like I know a few, but you know.
But no, I mean, even like 10 years ago, we used to go to those lakes, and if you couldn't catch any reds, you guarantee you would catch some catfish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that became harder and harder and harder.
I guess
to come by.
Yeah, like and that's kind of.
But then that's also goes with. Not just guys, but people, more people getting into fishing.
Yeah, I mean that's back to my old point too with the stocking. Reds is another one where it's like, it is cool that you can catch reds in fresh water. I do think that's dope, right? I mean, they're a great fish. They're a great fighting fish. But again, selfishly, being a largemouth guy, you know, like largemouth bass fisherman. I mean, you know, Brawny and Cali could be decent. They were at
one point. They were premier bass lakes at one point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
they started stocking all kinds of saltwater fish in them for some reason, and the bass kind of disappeared. But I wouldn't mind if they did. Like, it'd be kind of cool to me, like if they took Brawny and stopped stocking reds in there and started stocking like more native style fish, like natural fish like bass.
Yeah,
and did that, and then kept Calaveras the way it is, and just keep putting reds there.
Yeah, that
actually would be cool with me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bigger lake. That's why too.
Yeah, I mean, you know, because even the striper.
The hybrids are.
The hybrids have suffered there as well.
They stock sport fish, which is cool, you know. But I mean, they are put there for people to take home and eat.
Well, evidently, like Brawny used to be also a premier crappie lake too,
and every once in a while somebody will catch something in there. Calaveras too, because of the crappie wall.
Yeah.
Well, what was it? It was years ago. I was on the pier catching bait, and I threw the throw net out, and I picked it up. It was, I don't know, 20 or.
Sorry.
We'll have to.
Okay. 20 or 30 little crappies
we
like that.
30-minute limit, so that one shut off.
Oh.
20 or little crappies like that.
At Cali?
At Brawny.
At Brawny?
Yeah.
When was that?
This is a long time ago.
I actually really, again, if I had a magic wand, right, and I could like order TPW to do something like that, like actually that would be like a good thing.
Yeah.
Make Brawny a bass lake, a good bass lake, and keep
bass and crappie.
Bass and crappie, that would be amazing, and because. I don't love going to Brawny and Cali and then paying the money.
I think it's more of the money for you than anything else.
It really
it's not
maybe back
it's
in
not the catfish, not the redfish thing for you. It's how much they charge, and I think everybody's got a problem with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's back in the old days when you were like guaranteed to catch a decent fish all the time. It wasn't such a big deal, but now you go out there and get skunked. It's like, well, what did I just pay $15 to get in for?
Yeah, it really does burn you.
But I mean, it's funny though how changing rules can really affect things. Like at Calaveras, after they closed the crappie wall, I noticed too more people were catching reds off the bank because a lot of reds were caught off that wall.
And now they're spreading out more.
Yeah, because you could literally, on a good day out there, you throw 3 lines out there in 5 minutes you already limit.
Oh wow!
On a good day,
dude.
But even on a bad day, you'll still catch a couple reds.
I will say what I do like. Speaking of tilapia too, you catch some healthy tilapia out there at Brawny and Cali.
They're good bait.
Yeah, they're good. That is my goal. That is one of my goals. I want to catch a nice red or catfish at Cali and Browning on live lining a tilapia.
That's what we used to do at the wall.
Yeah.
We used to just catch a good little 2-3 inch tilapia on the treble hook and throw it back out there.
Yeah.
And that current would push them out, and it'd be funny because you could see them on top of the water sometimes, just flapping, and you just see that thing just sucked in.
I mean, yeah, there's no better action than an actual live bait, like sending out little distress signals to the predators. But yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Well, we are coming up on the end of it here anyway.
Yeah, so...
Was there any other points we needed to make?
Well, I would like to bring up the name thing. Alright, so we're going to sign off the podcast here, but I would like to pose a challenge to any of our viewers. We still don't have a name, and we could even make this a contest. Maybe there might be a giveaway involved, but anybody willing to make some suggestions, we might riff off of it, or we might just take the whole suggestion whole hog. Let us know what y'all think, man. What would be a good name for our podcast? We're fielding ideas, but
what else do you want us to talk about? So we'll take suggestions on subjects, and we'll tackle them all as best we can.
Yeah, definitely. Any recommendations on things you'd like to see us talk about, or anything you're curious about fishing in San Antonio or South Texas in general? If we know about it, we'll drop some jewels of wisdom.
And also, like, if a handful of people out there we know, we want to bring in some guests.
Yes.
So, some of the guys we know, I know a couple other YouTubers, local guys that we want to bring in.
Yeah.
I gotta get into contact with them, but we gotta set up something that works with all of our schedules.
Yeah, we're 3 podcasts in, so we're still young, but
we're still growing.
Yeah,
still growing things going on still.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out the mechanics of all this, but yeah, we would love to have guests, and we'd like to be interactive with whoever is watching. So, anyway, thanks for tuning in. If you did tune in, and I guess stay tuned for episode 4.
Yeah.